G'day guys, welcome back to your English Aussie and welcome to Game Week 25 Buy, Sell, Hold. We've got a ton to get through today. So much has happened over this week. We've got another double game week now with Liverpool and Aston Villa both doubling in 25. And we're going to have to get through the best defenders, midfielders and forwards for you guys to buy. We've also included a bit for goalkeepers right at the end. So let's get straight into it. And we've got on our tier 1 buy list is Trent Alexander-Arnold or Ibrahima Konate of Liverpool. Hopefully Trent will recover in time for the start of game week 25, potentially even for the Everton game at the back end of 24. I am recording just before the FA Cup games against Plymouth and after Liverpool and Newcastle have advanced to the Carabao Cup final. I think having double Liverpool defence is fantastic if you are not already on Arnie Slot. If you are on Arnie Slot as your assistant manager chip, I think the best use of your two Liverpool players would be Mo Salah and Cody Gakpo in attack. They are looking lethal at the moment for Liverpool. Next on the tier 1 buy list is Anthony Robinson of Fulham. I think Fulham have really nice fixtures coming up over the next few weeks. They also are one of the teams that do play in game week 29 and are not blanking as Liverpool, Newcastle, Crystal Palace and Aston Villa all blank in game week 29. Despite this, Robinson has been playing a slightly less high role on that left-hand side recently, with Fulham going back into their 4-2-3-1 tactical setup, which has him as a little bit more of an orthodox fullback. However, he has still attacked onwards and linked up nicely with Iwobi on that wing and remains a tier 1 option for me. Into the tier 2 list, and I would say that there are not too many defenders on the list at the moment. I think Gabriel and Timber are quite close to tier 1 for me. However, with their not returning too many attacking returns over the recent weeks, and Arsenal have been just managing to keep conceding a goal in each of these weeks. I do have them right at the top of the tier 2 buy. Arsenal have some fantastic fixtures coming up over the next few weeks. Leicester, West Ham, Forest, Man United, before Chelsea, and then Fulham, Everton, Brentford, Ipswich, Crystal Palace and Bournemouth, taking them into game week 35. That is a really nice fixture run for Arsenal, and hopefully they can pick up some clean sheets along the way. Next up in tier 2 buy is Milos Kerkez or Hodgson for Bournemouth. Sorry for butchering that name. I think Bournemouth are playing fantastically at the moment, despite their 2-0 loss to Liverpool, who are obviously the informed team in the league at the moment. Kerkez has really been rattling up and down that left-hand side, creating chances for Bournemouth in their sort of rock and roll style football, where they are getting really high up the pitch, pressing teams very high and trying to win the ball back in those advanced areas. Hodgson's also been a threat off set pieces. Bournemouth, one of the best set piece teams in the league so far this season, along with Arsenal, with their dedicated set piece coach, really causing a lot of havoc from their set pieces. I think they're still great options with some really nice fixtures coming up over the next really 9 game weeks for Bournemouth. Finally, on my tier 2 buy list is Mykolenko of Everton. I think at that price point of around 4.3 million, he really fits in well to your team, and I think he would be a really nice buy. Again, Everton do not blank in that game week 29, so he fits in nicely to the team. In the sell category, we remain with Pedro Porro. I think his price point is just far too high for a Tottenham defence who just can't defend at the moment, to be honest. He's still in the sell category for me. Rico Lewis of Manchester City, his minutes are a bit of a risk at the moment, with Matthias Nunes sometimes playing in that right back role for Manchester City. With Manchester City continuing to concede goals, they haven't really resolved their defensive issues at the moment, despite looking like they've resolved their offensive problems. Rico Lewis is still a sell for me. Lewis Hall is now the first interesting option on my sell list. Lewis Hall will be blanking in game week 29, with Newcastle's next 3 fixtures being Man City, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. before taking on West Ham in game week 28. I think it is time to move off Lewis Hall. Fixtures are not good over the next 3 game weeks, and with a blank in 29, you want to be moving into some players that are going to be playing in that game week 29 if you're trying to manage through that game week without playing a chip such as a free hit. Finally on my sell, and another big call, is Daniel Munoz of Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace don't have the worst fixtures over the next 4 game weeks. He is somebody that maybe you could hold over the next 4 game weeks and look to sell in game week 29. But for me, he is somebody that I would be looking into moving on over the next 4 weeks as he is blanking in that game week 29 fixture. In the hold section, I do have Josko Gvardiol. He is starting to play a higher role on that left side for Man City. He's starting to get back into those old positions. Man City are really pushing him on forwards and making their defensive midfielders sit a little bit deeper to help out their centre-backs at the moment. That is where Gvardiol is most effective for Man City, and he does have those potential attacking returns. With Man City's fixtures turning pretty nice from game week 28 onwards, really to the end of the season, he's someone that I'd look to hold in my team if you do have him over the next couple of tricky game weeks for them, for that nice fixture run and those potential attacking returns. Next up on the hold list is really all of the Nottingham Forest defence. Although they have some tricky games over the next 4 games with Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal and Man City, they do play in game week 29. They do have a nice fixture in Ipswich, and they do have some reasonable fixtures after that. Nottingham Forest have been a fantastic defence so far this season, and a team that I would like to continue to attack. Moving on to the midfielders and the tier 1 and buys of Mo Salah and Cole Palmer are no surprise to absolutely anybody. Before I move on to those tier 2 buys, just a reminder to you guys, if you can subscribe to the channel, please like the video. If you do enjoy this content, we're up to 1.1k subscribers and looking to push on to 2k before the end of the year. It's really helping to grow this small channel, so I really appreciate every like, every subscribe really makes a difference and helps give me the energy to keep producing this content. I really appreciate all of you guys, so that would be great if you could smash those buttons. Onto the tier 2 buy, and you can see Jared Bowen sneaking in there right at the bottom of the screen. He is back now for West Ham, and with a goal against Chelsea and 10 points on his return, including 90 minutes for them, he could be a really nice differential in that midfield, where a lot of teams may not have him at this moment, especially with Graham Potter being in charge at West Ham. He will look to get West Ham playing a little bit more attacking, create those nice attacking patterns similarly to how he had at Brighton, and I think Jared Bowen could be a really nice differential going forwards. Next up on the list is Brian Mbeumo. Obviously Brentford with some nice fixtures, especially over the next 3 weeks with West Ham, Leicester and Everton in the next 3. Brian Mbeumo being in nice form for Brentford and also being on penalties. He's a really nice option at that sort of mid-price point of 7.9 million. Next up on the list is a little bit more expensive, but it is Phil Foden. I think Man City have really solved their attacking issues at the moment, and Phil Foden is somebody who just looks in fantastic form for them at the moment. Once they get through these next couple of tricky fixtures with Newcastle and Liverpool, they then do go on a really nice run where they have Tottenham, Forest, Brighton, Leicester, Man United, Crystal Palace, Everton, Villa, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Fulham, all the way to the end of the season. A really nice run for Man City. Again, they don't blank in game week 29. They do have a nice fixture against Brighton, who did just lose 7-0 to Nottingham Forest. So Foden could be a really nice pick for you over this upcoming fixture run. Next up on my list is Kluivert of Bournemouth along with Dango Itara. These two are the guys that I'd be targeting for Bournemouth over this fixture run. And with the injury news that they do have for Evan Nilsson with the metatarsal injury and Enes Ünal, who will be out for the rest of the season, it looks like that Dango Itara could be in that number 9 role for Bournemouth, playing a majority of minutes, and Kluivert obviously being on penalties and slotting in sort of in the number 10 there. They've been really dynamic for Bournemouth over the last couple of weeks. This rock and roll style football that you're seeing Iraola playing for Bournemouth is going to produce goals, and these two could be at the centre of it. At a cheap price point of 5.9 and 5.0 million, they'd definitely be people that I'd be looking into over the upcoming game weeks. Into the tier 3 midfielder category, and first up on my list is Elanga and Gibbs White with a bad photo, with the 2 photos of Elanga up there. I think these Nottingham Forest midfielders have been in really good form. Although their fixtures are not quite there over the next few game weeks, they are potentially people that I would look to consider as maybe a 5th midfielder option at those sort of cheaper price points. Next up on my list is Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo of Manchester United. Manchester United do have some really nice fixtures over the next 6 game weeks. They do have Tottenham, Everton, Ipswich, then Arsenal, followed by Leicester and Nottingham Forest, with Leicester in that all-important game week 29. If you are looking for a punt on some Man United players, these are the 2 that I would look for. However, with Man United recently deploying Fernandes in a deeper lying midfield role, that really has dented his attacking chances, although having a penalty taker in your team is always something to look out for. They're sitting in the tier 3 category because of that inconsistency in the Man United team. Moving on to the forwards, and guys, one more quick reminder, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button if you haven't already. Really help this channel grow. I really appreciate you guys if you like this content. And on the tier 1 buy, we have top of the lip Alexander Isak of Newcastle in fantastic form, definitely the top striker. And we finally have a second addition to the tier 1 buys for the forwards with Cody Gakpo of Liverpool. Liverpool having a double game week in 24 and followed by now 25 against Wolves and Aston Villa. Cody Gakpo in superb form for Liverpool, scoring again in the cup in midweek, and just looking like the best option at the moment. He looks like he's got the minutes under his belt. He looks like he's going to be playing in these games, and he'd be definitely somebody that if you aren't already tripled up on Liverpool, I'd be looking to bring into your team this week. In the tier 2 buys for the forwards, we do have Ollie Watkins just because of the double this week for Aston Villa. Please note, if you are bringing him into your team, make sure that you have available transfers all the way through to game week 29 to perhaps be able to still play 11 players in that game week 29, despite bringing Ollie Watkins in. John Duran has moved to Saudi Arabia, and therefore Ollie Watkins is the sole striker at the moment for Aston Villa, and definitely someone that I'd be looking to bring in for the double with Ipswich and Liverpool this week. Next up on the list is Johan Wissa of Brentford. Although disappointing this week, Brentford were, Johan Wissa is still a top striker for me, someone who picks up some great positions with Brentford's fixtures over the next 3 weeks of West Ham, Leicester and Everton, and Villa in 28. He's definitely someone that I would look to bring in. Next up is a bit of a controversial one, is Matheus Cunha. It might be the time to be bringing him back into the team at the moment. Although Wolves have Liverpool this week, in 26-27 they have Bournemouth, Fulham before going on a great run of fixtures. Everton, Southampton, West Ham, Ipswich, Tottenham, Man United, Leicester. 5 of the bottom teams and Tottenham who've been conceding so many goals at the moment. Matheus Cunha might just be the man to be bringing back into your fantasy team to rise up the rank and pick up those points where other people may not have him. Finally, into the sell, we do have Erling Haaland. I think that price point is just unattainable at the moment. Man City have some tricky fixtures over the next few weeks, and until game week 28 or 29, he's not somebody that I'd be looking to bring in. Evan Nilsson with the long-term injury of the metatarsal, he's out for me. João Pedro is somebody that I'd look to move on. I do think we've got some nicer options in that forward line at the moment. Isak, Gakpo, Wissa, Cunha, Watkins, even Chris Wood are much nicer options. And with Brighton just not clicking at the moment, João Pedro would be a sell for me. And finally, maybe controversially, Nicholas Jackson is a sell for me now for Chelsea. He has played 60 minutes and 51 minutes in his last 2 games. still struggling for form to be able to find that finishing, and it does look like Maresca is looking to sort of bring him off a little bit earlier, give Nkunku a few more minutes for Chelsea, and he might find his place in the team at risk over the upcoming weeks if he can't pick up form. I do think that at that high price point, some of those other players are really nice options that I would prefer, especially perhaps an Ollie Watkins around that price point for me, who is guaranteed almost 90 minutes for Villa at the moment. In the hold section, I still have a Ndiaye for Everton. If you've got him in your team, he is a little bit of a budget enabler. I'd keep him there for the moment, see how he goes. He is picking up some more attacking positions under Moyes. Moyes has really allowed his midfielders, wingers, to push up higher and be able to receive the ball higher up the field. And Ndiaye is one of those guys. He is a dynamic player for Everton. I would look to hold on to him if you do have him. Raul Jimenez, Fulham again, have some nice fixtures over the next few weeks. Just hold on to him if you've got him. No need to transfer him out unless you do really want a sort of Gakpo, Isak, or maybe Watkins for the double game week. And finally, Chris Wood. What a man he is. The hat-trick this week against Brighton in the 7-0 win. He's just, you can't sell him. And if you've got him, hold on to him. He is the GOAT at the moment. Finally, moving on to goalkeepers, and we'll just whiz through this for you guys. It is Alisson at the top for the double game week. Note that he will be blanking in game week 29, so make sure that you have a rotation goalkeeper, maybe a Fabianski on your bench, who does have a nice fixture in 29 against Everton at 4.1 mil. Sells of Nottingham Forest, set and forget for Nottingham Forest. They've been a great defensive team this year. Sells has made some great saves for them, although their fixtures aren't fantastic over the next 4. After that, they do pick up and they will be playing in 29. Jordan Pickford again, Everton some reasonable fixtures over the upcoming game weeks. They do play in 29 against West Ham. It is a nice fixture. He could be someone to set and forget for your season. In the tier 2 categories, Kepa of Bournemouth. Bournemouth just on a nice fixture run at the moment, all the way through to sort of 33, 34 for them. Could be someone that you'd look to bring in as sort of a differential keeper option. And finally, Fabianski, he'd probably be the guy that I'd have as my second keeper. And maybe if you've got an Alisson, be someone that I'd be looking to bring in for that game week 29 where Liverpool will be blanking. That rounds out the goalkeepers, and just a reminder, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. All the minutes that you watch in my videos really help with the view count. We've almost hit 3,000 watch hours now. We're pushing to 2,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe, like the video, comment on the video if you enjoyed it, or if you've got any questions for your team. I'll continue to do videos this week. I'll put one out soon for the updated chip strategy after the FA Cup games. I'll let you know what I think and where are the best game weeks to play every chip, from assistant manager, free hit, wildcard, bench boost, triple captain, if you have or haven't used them. So look out for that one, and hope you all have a great game week. Hopefully whoever you've got for that Liverpool-Everton comes through for you. This has been your English Aussie. Have a great week, everyone, and I'll catch you later. Thanks, guys.